And I love interactive. There's nothing better than interactive. And so I got the chat up from Facebook and from Twitter. If you're on Facebook, if you're one of my friends on Facebook, or if you're a fan of me on my fan page on Facebook, you can also send me a text or a comment right on Facebook and Twitter and all of those things. So we're real interactive around here. Big Willie style. We are real interactive. All right, 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. I told you, I mentioned in the last segment that we were going to talk a little bit, kind of teased it, about the NFL and the state of the NFL after week 3. And very interesting storylines. Very interesting. When you look at some of the teams and some of the storylines going on, let's just run through them. We're going to start from when the week started on Thursday night and continue all the way to that Monday night game last night between the Jets and the Bears. Game number 1 on Thursday night, the Buccaneers taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons absolutely destroyed them. I think the thing that comes out of that is that the Falcons can score on anybody. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they absolutely suck. And it's going to be a minute for Lovie Smith to get things on track there. And that's what's to be expected. They're 0-3 and the Falcons are 2-1. Then you have the Chargers with the 22-10 win over the Bills. The Bills at that point have been 2-0. And a lot of people, a lot of experts figure that the Chargers would go back to being the Chargers over the last couple of years under Norv Turner. You know, it seemed like the Chargers always started out slow, and then they picked things up, and they were scratching, trying to get into the playoffs. And a lot of times it was too late. But it seems like the Chargers, their offense is clicking on all cylinders, and they get the big win over the Buffalo Bills. E.J. Manuel looks great. Struggled a little bit against this Chargers team this past weekend, but it seems like he's made that progression that a lot of teams are looking for Geno Smith to try to make, or that the Jets are trying to look for Geno Smith to make. So I think Buffalo Bills, I think they have a bright future with those guys from Clemson. I think they're going to be good, but I think they're probably going to be a team that's going to be 8-8, 9-7, something like that. How about this one? The Dallas Cowboys, in a miracle. It's almost like the Dallas Cowboys can't take any more than they already have on their plate right now, because if they would have lost this game to the Rams, which most people thought was a game they should have won, even though it was on the road, it would have just been too much. Everybody and their mama would have been just slamming the Cowboys, which we love to do anyway, and which there's a lot of reason to do. So they pull out a miraculous come-from-behind win, down by 21 points, and they win 34-31. Bad teams find ways to lose, and that's what the Rams did in this particular case. Cowboys 2-1, Rams 1-2. How about the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Redskins? Redskins go down to the Eagles, 37-34. Kirk Cousins looks like he's going to be the guy for the Washington Redskins going forward. Nick Foles, another fantastic game, over 300 yards passing. The Eagles and Chip Kelly's offense are going to be here. They're going to be here. They're going to be here in the thick of things. Bottom line, they just have such a great offense, a greater offensive scheme, and that a lot of teams just aren't prepared to defend against that Philadelphia Eagles offense. Jeremy Maclin is the main guy now, seeing on that team as far as wide receiver. So Philadelphia is going to be a team to contend with going down the stretch as well. The Houston Texans go down to the New York Jets, and the Jets is one of those teams that most people feel like, the Giants is one of those teams that most people feel like is going to have a tough year. They're 1-2 right now. The Houston Texans 2-1. That's a game that you wish you could have back if you're the Texans. The Vikings go down to the New Orleans Saints 20-9. Saints get back on the right track. They're 1-2 right now on the year. That's a team that most people had going to the Super Bowl early this year. And so, I don't know what's the deal with the Saints. Saints got to get it together real fast, or they're going to struggle, and it's going to be a tough time for them. So the offense is always great. You know that. It's about the defense, and they just had bad defense over the last couple of years. The Bengals, one of the better teams in the league that most people are proclaiming, beat the Tennessee Titans 33-7. They look very good, one of the top teams in the league. The Ravens beat the Cleveland Browns 23-21. They're 2-1 on the year. Browns, just the Browns, 1-2. At what point do we see Johnny Manziel? The Packers don't look like the Packers that won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. They lose to the Detroit Lions 19-7. Are the Lions for real? 2-1 on the year. Jaguars, just the Jaguars, even with Blake Bortles, a guy that we think is going to be their quarterback for the foreseeable future, but I think there's an institutional problem in the Jaguars, just like my team and the Oakland Raiders. They go down to the New England Patriots 16-9. The Patriots 2-1 on the year, and the Raiders 0-3. After all the talk about trying to turn things around, Derek Carr, I think, is a bright spot. My man BP from Oakland called yesterday and talked about that Carr is really a bright spot on that team. You just got to build around him and hope that he takes his game to another level going forward. The Cardinals, in a shocker, I would call 23-14 over the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers 1-2. This is the team that I picked to go to a Super Bowl. They got to turn things around real fast. And are the Cardinals for real? 3-0. They got great, wide receiver play and Larry Fitzgerald. They got a running back and Andre Ellington, my little cuz. So they got offense, and they got the Honey Badger on the defensive side and some great playmakers and Peterson on the defensive side. The Cardinals might be for real. Broncos go down to the Seahawks 26-20 in the rematch of the Super Bowl. And the Chiefs, in a very impressive win on the road against the Dolphins. Now they're talking about in Miami not starting Tannehill. Kind of regressed a little bit, it seems like. So we'll see what happens with that organization in Miami. Andy Reid and the Chiefs get their first win, 34-15. The Panthers, in a shocking win, in my opinion, lose at home to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 37-19. And last night you saw what happened with the Jets. The Jets go down and they lose to the Chicago Bears, 27-19. Bears looking like one of those tough teams that's going to be there at the end of the season as well. Let's go ahead and grab a call. We got my man. Who we got? Jared. Jared, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. Jared, what you got?
Hey, what's going on, man? It's a pleasure to be on the show, man. I'm just glad to talk about football, man. It's better than all the extracurricular things outside, off the field, in the locker room.
Appreciate it, Jared. What you got for me?
Man, I just want to get off of the Ray Rice and the Blunt and Bell situation and all the who else? You got your boy from Carolina. I really want to get on a more important topic, and I think a lot of people will disagree. I think they'll be highly misled.
Yeah, I've talked about it over the last couple of days. The first day of the show on yesterday, the Falcons are for real. They just got too much firepower. I like the way they use their trio of backs, and the wide receiver core is probably the best in the league. I've talked about San Francisco and the Bears squad as well, but I think from top to bottom, I think the wide receiving core, not adding in the tight end, might be the best wide receiving core in the NFL, man.
Absolutely, but it's scary to me. Average, of course, good. But, I think we're going to somehow miss that mark just a little bit because of the general, man. I think we need to coach it, like, right now.
Hey, Jared, thanks for the call, man. You want to answer a trivia question on this Trivia Tuesday?
Why not, man?
Huh?
Why not? I said, why not?
Okay, all right. Here's your trivia question on this Trivia Tuesday. You're actually the first guy, the first person to answer a trivia question on the new Doug Stewart Show. So here's the question, Jared.
All right.
Who was the first coach to win 4 Super Bowl titles?
I'm just going for Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson? No, that's wrong. That's wrong, Jared.
Oh, man.
That's wrong as hell, man. You seem like you're a younger guy, though. So you probably wouldn't even know the answer to that. But the first coach to win... I'm sorry?
I said I probably wasn't even born.
Exactly. The first coach to win 4 Super Bowls was Chuck Noll, the great Chuck Noll, the Steelers head coach. He won 4 Super Bowls. And So I think is he the only coach that's won 4 Super Bowls? He has to be. It says the first coach. Did Bill Walsh win 4 Super Bowls? I got to have my producers look that up. But that's the answer to your trivia question. The number is 404-382-0338. That's the number to the show, 404-382-0338. Here's a tweet from James Leach. He says, sales pitch of the year. 1 live stew is better than no live stew. Exactly. I agree with that guy right there. 1 live stew is better than no live stew. All right? Thank you for the tweet, my man, James L. Thank you very much. 404-382-0338. 1 live stew better than no live stew. 1 live stew better than no live stew. Exactly right. You can also text me at 770-847-0536. That's the way you can text me. You can also email me, Doug@thedougstewartshow.com. All right. So we've been talking a little bit about the Steelers and the NFL teams and all the teams and the state of the league right now after week 3. And very interesting year, and love this time of the year. The weather's changing. Leaves are falling. You get a little briskness when you walk outside. So it's football season. It's that time of the year. It is that time of the year. How about this? Japanese golfers carry hole-in-one insurance. In Japan, it is customary for golfers who have hit a hole-in-one to throw a celebration for their closest companions. Though this can also be as simple as buying them all a celebratory gift, nearly 4 million Japanese golfers carry golf insurance, paying a $65 premium every year for $3,500 in coverage. So that's why your friends in Japan were celebrating your hole-in-one so emphatically. Because if they get a hole-in-one in Japan, they're going to eat and drink good. They are. That's a great idea. I wonder if there's anything like that in the States, if there's anything like that in America. $65, and I guess a gazillion people buy it because everybody think they're going to get a hole-in-one. So it pays for itself if you're the insurance company, and you just dole out $3,500 when somebody does hit a rare hole-in-one. It's an interesting little thing right there. Very, very, very interesting. Here's a tweet from Mike Dons. I think that's Dons. Mike Dons says that the San Francisco 49ers are going to get things on track. Wait and see. And I agree with you. I agree with you, Mike Dons. Thanks for the tweet on the Doug Stewart Show on Twitter. I agree with you. I think they are going to get things on track. But they need to do it quick. They need to do it quick where there's not even a chance where they can get back into contention for making the playoffs. I think if they make it to the playoffs, I think they'll be fine. I think they're a team that can get back to the Super Bowl. They just have too many weapons. Once they get back on the page with what they do offensively, I think that the San Francisco 49ers are a team that's going to make some real noise at the end of the year. Here's another tweet from Ramona C. I'm not using people's last names if you caught that. But Ramona C says the Panthers and Cam Newton played a tough game, but they have things they need to work out as well. And by the way, did you see Cam's shoes? Now, what she's referring to, and this actually was sent to me in my personal inbox, so I guess she's somebody that follows me. What she's referring to, and I follow them, is did you see the post-game press conference? The pictures floating around with Cam Newton and what he had on at the press conference. And the best way I can describe it, if you didn't see it, and you can quickly Google it right now and see exactly what I'm talking about. The best way I can describe it is Cam had on a suit jacket with a t-shirt. That's not so bad. I do that every once in a while. But he had on leggings. He had on leggings with these loafer-type shoes with no socks on, but the leggings came up to like a little bit below his calf. It wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look at all. And I don't know if he's been following up Westbrook from the Oklahoma City Thunders, if he's contracted his clothes maker, but that's what he looked like. His tailor. It's just a bad look. And a lot of these times, these guys just have so much money, they don't know what to do with it. They just don't know what to do with it. And so it looks like